Hello everybody, how's it going? Hey Take, hey Sauda. I'm sorry, I don't know your real name, so I'm probably mispronouncing or not even saying your name. Hey Oscillate Wildly. Hey Halima, how's everybody doing? Hey Madhu, I'm gonna send this to Asela so we can get him in. It is so cold. I got my jacket on. Good, that's good. If you're good, then I'm good. I was responding to hate messages on my recent post. I'm from Sri Lanka. Where are you from? Asela, I sent you a request, buddy. I hope you got it. Hey, Kevin. Nice. I'm from Colombo. Hey, Ashi. I'm just waiting for Asela to join, and then we can want to know more about me. Check my profile. Um, I'm just trying to spread some kindness. UK. Nice. It must be like late afternoon or late morning now, if I'm not mistaken. Asela, let me try and get you in again. Oh, there we go. Just. How's it going, buddy?
Yes. Hey, man.
So,
I was slightly confused there about whether I missed your request or what was going on.
all good, man. How's it going? How's your day been? Did you get your stuff done?
Not too bad. Yeah, actually, just got back a little while ago, and yeah, things are going as smooth as they can be given the context of everything.
Nice, man. I'm pleasure to have you, buddy. I got sent your profile through Yasin from Long Weekend. I'm not sure if you know him.
Oh, yeah, I
But he
do.
said me. Yeah, so I hang out with him a lot, unfortunately, when I'm in Sri Lanka. So like he sent me his profile and said you got to get him on the show, like he's one of the OGs. So I was just like, yeah, I'm all about getting the OGs in here.
Oh, man,
So
Yasin is.
Asila, yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining, man. So, like, for the people who don't know and the people who will watch this now and watch this later as well, his name is Asela. He's one of the OG singer-songwriters. I was checking out some of your music as well. Dude, you have an amazing voice. Plus, like, the amount of effort that it must be taking from your brain to, like, write songs so consistently must take its toll. But on top of that, you're also known for someone who has started the Melomanic sessions as well. I've been to two of those, and they have been some of the best live music I've listened to because you have given opportunities for so many incredible artists to come and just showcase their voice, which is absolutely incredible. But yeah, man, tell us about you, dude. Tell us where you come from and why music is so important in your life.
First of all, thanks a lot for having me on. Yasin and I actually, I found this out very recently because I've seen him on social media. He's been very active with Long Weekend and all of that. But then we were mutually helping out a friend to do a video very recently, and it turns out that we schooled together as well. So that was like a wait, what? Which made sense because both of us pretty much were non-existent in school, so we had been in the same place but not really aware. But yeah, thanks a lot for the kind words, man. Music has been a huge part of my life ever since I can remember. I was actually born in Austria. My parents lived there for the longest time. My dad still lives there. Came down to Sri Lanka when I was about 6 years old. And my entire family back in Austria was into music. So they've been in bands, and my dad's a huge music aficionado, you might say. So it's always been present. And being the only child in the family, moving back here with my mom, left me with a lot of free time after school and not a lot to do. So I basically found myself indulging in a lot of the things that only kids might do. Like listening to music, reading a lot of books, and by personality, being introverted, I mean, that was most of the things that I turned to. And yeah, music was pretty much a saving grace. And then as I got older, I started picking up an instrument and learning how to play, and it just carried forward from there, I suppose.
Amazing, amazing, man. Yeah, I think music has always been a big part of my life as well. But the only difference between you and I is I can't sing to save my life, and you can.
But everyone can sing to varying degrees, I suppose.
True, varying to the extent that nobody wants to listen to me for a second time, you know?
Fair enough.
Like, it's a big part of my life because my mom is a beautiful singer. She sang in the choir, she sang in temples, churches, all of those things as well. And my dad was my late father, like, my mom divorced and all of those things. But my late father was like a singer in the Tamil side of things back in the day.
Really? Okay.
And he used to be very famous for like singing at weddings and all that stuff because he could change his voice according to different artists. And you know how old Tamil music used to have like this whole like big fad about like baby voice singing and stuff like that. So he could really like
Yes.
switch his voice into like a baby voice, and like people would love that when it came to weddings and stuff. So yeah, so the music was always like a big part of my life as well. I tried my hand in like piano and stuff like that, but I still regret it to this day. I didn't pursue it. I would have loved to like being able to like still play piano, and I think that's something I'll get back into in the future. But yeah, music is a big part of my life, man. Like I listen to all types of genres from like classic to jazz to contemporary to like modern arts and like modern like mainstream music and rock, heavy metal, alternative rock, like you name it, I've listened to it. You
You've
know.
got a really open mind and a wide range of genres that you.
Absolutely. That's why I love talking to musicians because something I believe is I fit a moment in my life with the music I listen to. So if I go to the gym, it's rap, rock, EDM. If I'm driving, it's more like happy music and like chilled out, especially on a Sunday morning. And like I just relate it to different moods, you know, like, and
Yeah.
rap for me, especially when it's soulful and meaningful rap, like rap for me at that point is just like when I really need to think and when I really need to focus and stuff like that. So I match my music to my mood. But yeah, man. So like when it comes to music and you, what made you pursue like making your own songs? Because I know every artist wants to do that, but like so far, like in Sri Lanka, especially, like a lot of people become successful just making cover music. You know, there's so many YouTubers who just do cover music and they have blown up on YouTube based on their voice and based on the production value of their YouTube videos. Why did you decide to write music? Why is it so close to your heart?
Well, great question. I think from the time that I started writing original music, I think the landscape at the moment has changed immensely in terms of what you can do with your music or with cover music for that matter. But back then, I think coming back to the point of, me being me and having even this at this moment in time, having a one conversation for me is much tougher than getting on stage and, singing a song or like talking to 100 people. I don't know why that is. It doesn't make sense to me in my head, but that's just how it is. And so as a kid growing up, I think it was just more easier for me to. Initially, it started with just picking up a guitar and then trying to learn all those songs that you idolize. And pretty soon, I found out that I couldn't, do the Guns N' Roses, and that's a little beyond my skill grade. But then I realized it's also an avenue for me to like pen down anything that I might want to, or didn't even realize that I wanted to say. And pretty soon it became a vocation, and it started out with very simple stuff. Like I used to have like this, back in the day, you had the headphones with the little microphone on the side. I'd use one of them to like literally hold it to the guitar, record the guitar, then, record the voice. If I wanted
Wow.
to, yeah, if I
I
wanted to make a,
just you for a second. I wish there was someone recording those moments so that you could do like
yeah.
a throwback video, like how you came to be, kind of thing. That would have been sick. But anyway, go on.
It would be very ungainly, but yeah, it would have been nice to see it. Yeah, so it just got really interesting to the point where, of course, I was also inspired by the artists that I was listening to at the time, and there was this one particular artist, um, yeah, called Imogen Heap. So what caught my attention about her was that she used a lot of natural sounds to create music, be it like beating on a ceiling or like, bashing the drawers to create a beat or something like that. So then my mom wasn't very happy about this, but then I'd spend my time in, the bathroom, miking the desk drawers and like banging them in there and creating a beat and, trying to record that. So it became an escape for me because being alone at home, that was something that I could just like wholeheartedly dive into. And then eventually I got a little bit more serious about writing proper songs. And then the whole idea of having a project where you could, have a theme into what you're trying to say as a message across songs and making it into like an EP, it just appealed to me and it was very satisfying, especially at the end of all of it when you have something to show for it. And now, like so many years down the line, it's just really gratifying to look back at it and think, that it's something worthwhile that I've, immersed myself in all that time.
Amazing. And just hearing the fact that you used to like use drawers to make like sounds and stuff like that is
Yeah.
incredible because I'm a big video gamer as well. Like I love playing video games. I don't play as much as I used to, but where I watched a documentary, I don't know if you've heard of a video game called Halo by any chance.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
I'm not a huge gamer, but I
so
know. Yeah.
Right. So like how they made the sounds for Halo 1 was they would crash like Xboxes and they would make like funny sounds with like pots and pans and stuff like that because that was the budget they were in, right? That was like the way
What?
they could make sounds and yeah, that's what they worked with, right? So it was just like super incredible to see how far they've come. Now they have like a
Yeah.
full budget production and they have like everything. They have like actual guns and stuff. Like for some guns, they just like made like squishy sounds and stuff like that to make like not like for the alien guns, they like made like squishy sounds and stuff like that to make the alien sounds and stuff. So they're like
Yes,
incredible,
so that's actually
incredible.
taking cue from like how they do sound effects for movies on set. I think because when it comes to Hollywood, I think we all take it for granted, like all the little things you hear in a movie. But literally, for
Yeah,
every movie, they create it uniquely. It's not borrowed. There's a sample from anything. They create it on set, and that's crazy. So probably taking a cue from that as well.
yeah, man, it's absolutely incredible. But that also just shows the passion that and how much drive you had towards making your own music as well, right? Like making the environment, especially now that we're at home, we need to make use of the environment around us and adapt to the situation that we're in. You used to do that back in the day as well, so which is awesome. I say back in the day like you're some old dude, you're not, but like you know what I
Yeah.
mean. You know what I mean. But I also want to touch on man, nomadic sessions. So I've been there. So I love being in the moment and listening to sessions. And now that I think about it, I've actually been for three. I've been for three melomanic sessions.
Which ones were they?
Um,
If you don't mind me asking.
one was on a rooftop, right?
Okay.
Uh, one was at what's that? Where all the offices are? What's that area called where they had Lanka Comic Con and stuff?
I know. This is when we used to have the warehouse project. Was it way back in the day or?
These are the latest ones, where they have all the offices, dude. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I know.
you
Yeah,
know what you know? Yeah,
I'm having a bit of a brain freeze right now, which is embarrassing, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So one was on a rooftop, one was at that place, and then another one. I can't remember where that was, but I've been for three of them. I've been for three of them, and like just the fact that like there's so many amazing artists we haven't heard of, and it's just such nice music, and I just like everyone's quiet and everyone. Sometimes people are just talking and having a good time, but they like the artists just have such an amazing and beautiful like platform to just like showcase their music.
Yeah.
I just want to know where did the idea come from? Because there, after over time, there's so many pubs and restaurants that have done open mic sessions, and they still have like sessions of live music. There's also Colpity House that did their own thing as well, which open mic sessions as well. Where did Melomanic come from? Where did that whole idea come from?
So, Melomanic sessions, or we fondly refer to it as Mellow now, because it's been around for so long. We started out in 2011, and it was just a bunch of us. So there's four of us essentially that started it: Crisanta De Silva, Natasha Senanayaka, and Kavya Buteju, and myself. So the initial idea was because back in the day when CC and I first met, uh, he is one of my best friends, and we've been, bonding over music for the longest time. And when we started out, there was the Colombo scene, even though there was a lot of I would say, sporadic events in terms of supporting concerts. There wasn't something regular that you could have, which was more intimate and opened itself up to singer-songwriters per se. Um, and so we thought, why not just do it ourselves? And that's where initially the idea came from. But then it was never intended to be a series or a rolling on of sessions, but we just wanted to try it out as a one-off. And then we spoke to one of our mutual friends who was Kavya, who came on board, and she's technically the one who came up with the name as well. I always had this idea of something sessions because there used to be this series on YouTube, which was in a bookshop where they used to bring in artists, and it used to be this really intimate little, affair. And so she came up with the name, and then we got Natasha on board as well. She's of the four of us, she's the one who's pursuing the passion that we'd love to be pursuing full time. She's a composer and a classical musician and a songwriter. So her inputs in terms of how we could curate the music and all of that was really valuable over the years. And we just became really good friends over those 9 years, 9 or 10 years. And the intention was that the event was always supposed to be about the music, because not to say that other events approach it differently. I'm sure that the focus is on the music, but like you said, it's also a social event where people do come and have conversations with each other, and they like to have a good time, which is great. And you need to have things like that. But we wanted this to be specifically about the due attention being given to the artists, and that was the vision basically. And the best thing about it was that it wasn't manufactured or that there was any structure to it. It just was very organic. People who came in just started becoming our friends, people we never met before. And some of those friendships have lasted till present day, and some of them have moved away from home but kept in touch. And that's the beauty of music in that sense. It just helps you to create those friendships and those bonds over time as well.
Amazing. Yeah, man. I felt a sense of community as well. So like the first two times I came with other friends, but then old friends I've never met before came, and then we hit it off and had a whole discussion, and we were literally sitting on those mats and like resting on each other's back and just like having a good freaking time, yo. Like that's what people forget. Like just enjoy the moment and enjoy what you're in right now, because there's so much noise, right? There's so much noise, and then there's the music.
Yeah.
Like focus on the music, focus on things that make you happy, and in that moment, you do it so beautifully with like the fairy lights and with the bean bags and the mats, and it's just like it's such a good vibe that you just like zone out the noise and you're just focusing on the music because you just create that environment for the people as well as the artists. So good job, man. Like it's seriously like I've never met you like even in those sessions like I was like in my little circle, so like I'm a very introverted person anyway. Like I'll socialize when I have to, but I won't go out there and talk to people. So it's just like I never got the chance to like talk
I
to you and
totally
stuff.
get that, man. I totally get that. I probably seemed like I was very extroverted being at the microphone, but like I told you, that's natural to me. But like, so I understand that.
Absolutely. So obviously, Melo has been. What was Wow Church's role in the beginning of Melo? Okay, let's get to that question later. But when it comes to Melo sessions, you have been adapting to what's going on right now. So you've gone on a live approach, which is awesome. You had Mimi's the other day as well.
Yeah.
How has the response been? Like, what's it like embracing social media more and more when it comes to the Melo ecosystem?
I think not just for Melo, but just, I mean, that was more a request from, like I said, it's created a community and a family that we've grown very close with. And the whole decision to go online with it was because a lot of people that were used to coming to Melo just, wanted us to do something. But also in general, I think it's really interesting how in a time, and I just see it like this, like life is basically tempo. And for all these years, especially in the last 3 to 4 years, things have just been going at a really fast pace. And at a time that things have almost come to like a standstill, where it's almost like a ballad now, like, the tempo is really slow. People are starting to like take their time and appreciate things. And it's interesting that a lot of people have turned to the arts and to music as a sort of a, way to find a little respite from everything that's going on, and that's amazing. And a lot of the local musicians and artists have been stepping up to that, and been doing what's necessary, which is great to see, because they've always been around. It's just that people have always been in a bit of a rat race, and sometimes some of these guys, I can honestly say, way underrated and way, there should be a lot more attention to them, and they're getting that now, which is great and so amazing. And when it comes to Mellow, we just wanted to do what we usually do. We just wanted to bring those same artists on board, and share their music with the platform that we have and the people that we have around us. And it's been really gratifying. So the very first one started on Monday, and we just decided that the four of us would start hosting these sessions from our profile, much like you're doing yourself. And for me, it was really nice to be on that side of it, to be able to have those conversations with those artists about the songs that they were performing, about their process, about how they've been adapting to life on lockdown, and if it's inspired them musically or all of that, which you don't usually get to do at a concert or even in day-to-day life, because we're all just on the run all the time. And that's just been an interesting aspect to it. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Amazing, man. I think I wanted to tune in for the sessions, but like this week has been so hectic that I've been falling asleep
Yeah.
earlier than usual. And this is the time difference because I'm in Melbourne. I just like I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I
I
can't keep
don't
up.
I don't blame you. Actually, to be honest, I didn't know that you were in Melbourne, and I thought you were here. So the time difference didn't strike me, first of all, and then I didn't realize that you were doing like six guests in a row, which is like 6 hours, I think, which is crazy. So respect to you, man, and that's amazing. That's really awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. I think I felt lonely, man. I felt anxious and stuff like that, and I figured there's other people out there. And like I said, like for the people who are watching now, if we help one person by having this little heart-to-heart chat, that's all that matters, man. It's all that matters.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely. I
even when
agree,
it
man.
comes to music, right? Like what I if the music helps me and like if I think it can help someone else, I always share it. As soon as Minesh goes live, I share it to every single person on my freaking
Yeah.
Instagram DM. Join, support your artists. It's the same thing that I'll do for Mello after this chat as well. Like I believe music can change the world. I truly do. I truly do. So I want to ask you, man. Like looking back, is there anything that you'd go back in your life and change? Is there any not regrets, but like things that you'd go back and be like, hey, I could have done this better.
Uh, that's an interesting one. I think the go-to answer would be to say that I would look back and not change anything, uh, which is like the movie version. Uh, but just thinking about it, like I said, growing up, my impression of life was quite slightly different to the usual per se, because of the circumstances. I mean, I came down when I was 6, and my dad continued to stay abroad. I mean, my parents made a decision at that time, to bring me down and have me school here, which meant that I led a slightly solitary life. Even at school, for some strange logic in my head, I thought my friends worked on a shift of 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then I come back home and I stay at home. Um, and that didn't really ring to me as something to be sad about or anything like that. That was life as I was accustomed to. But then when I started getting out more after school and getting into a job and then getting involved with Mellow and associating with a lot of people, I realized that a lot of people's childhoods and their growing up experiences were different. Where socially they would have done a lot more things. A lot of them knew each other. Their circles were much bigger. Mine, I could count like 10 people that I kept in touch with maybe over the years, which is why I'm so grateful for something like Mellow, because it's helped me to meet a lot of like-minded people. And right now, I have no regrets about that. So in answer to your question, I'd say yes and no, because I know for a fact that if my life had been different, maybe possibly this outcome right now would not be there. I might not even be here talking to you. But at the
True.
same time, there are certain things that you kind of wish you could have gotten more involved in growing up. But yeah, I think life pans out the way it's supposed to, and everything happens for a reason.
Amazing, amazing, man. And I also want to ask, dude, when it comes to the music scene in Sri Lanka, you've chosen a more English song approach. I was talking to Natasha the other day, and she was saying that she chose not to go down the Sinhalese path, and that did affect her. She did get a lot of hate for it and all of those things. But she just chose that she loved English music, and this is what she wanted to portray, and she grew her audience off of that. Obviously, she has the quite questionable audiences within her followers as well, who send her messages that she won't necessarily want to read. But at the same time, she knows that people appreciate her music. What do you think about that whole dynamic that if you join the which I'm not dashing at all. Like I love Sinhalese music at all. I've actually been just getting into it like over the last 2 years. I wasn't exposed to it that much. English music was my life for majority of it. But like, what do you think about the whole scene where you need to join that Sri Lankan music industry to make it, you know? And is there a chance for people to like Minesh is doing it? There's so many other artists that are still doing it, like Romain and people like that are still doing by singing English music. But to really blow up, do you really need to go to the Sinhalese music sector, or do you think that there is market for the English sector as well?
uh, I don't think there's a simple answer. I guess the answer depends on what you want to achieve personally as a musician. Um, if you're looking at it from a, and this is slightly alien to me because I look at writing music slightly differently, but I get where most people come from in terms of making an informed decision about what path they want to take. Um, yeah, definitely. If you're looking at it from a Sri Lankan point of view and promoting yourself within the island, it makes more sense to dive into the Sinhala music industry. And some of my friends and some bands and artists that I know have consciously made that decision, even though they pursue English music as a more broader approach. They do try to, cater to the Sinhalese audiences by writing a few Sinhala songs as well, and that's worked for them. One of the more famous ones would be Nemesis, who won on stage like a few years back, and then they came out with a huge Sinhalese song called Chakitaya, which to this day people perform it in these reality shows and things like that. But they were predominantly an English rock band, um, and I guess that's a conscious choice you have to make as an artist or a band. And it's a tricky one because it has to be between meeting that audience requirement, but also not losing what you want to say in terms of a message as a musician and an artist. Because as soon as you start writing things that you don't believe in, that's going to translate into your music and into your identity and what you're trying to put out there. The language doesn't really matter in that sense, as long as you believe in what you're writing in at the end of the day. For me personally, though, it's slightly different because like I told you, I always turn to this as a passion project, but also because I've always commonly used the term of self-therapy. It just helps me to write music, and I'd be the first to say that there are so many more people that are musically talented than I am. Like there are amazing voices out there, amazing musicians who are great at their instrument. Um, I have a lot to work on, but I just love writing music and creating it. There's something about it that just speaks to me. So, like you said, with your efforts in terms of bringing people on and having a conversation, your hope is that that reaches even that one person, it makes a difference. I couldn't agree more. That's basically what I started out intending for it to do. Somewhere along the line, I kind of lost sight of that for a little while, and went through those same cycles of why isn't this reaching a broad audience? But then with the release of some recent music and messages that have been coming from a few people who've personally taken their time to write to me and things like that, I was again reminded of the fact that it's quality versus quantity at the end of the day, and that's what's the most rewarding for me. But yeah, I hope that kind of answers the
Yeah, man.
question.
I think I kind of threw a curveball. It's there's no easy way to answer that question, and I think, like you said, it's up to the musician as well, like what kind
Yeah.
of path they want to go. Because if they want to go down that path, it should be something they believe in as well. Because if the music doesn't speak, if it's something that you just did for the sake of joining that industry, people will realize that maybe it'll blow up. But the thing is, do you want to set yourself out to that extent as well? As well, so like it's just like making a conscious choice. Like, okay, I like Sinhalese music, and also there's a lot of opportunity within that industry as well for me to branch out, and I can always come back and do English songs after I built an audience or something like that. There's so many options, right? It depends on where your heart lies. But yeah, man, thanks for like taking that curveball. Chris is in the chat as well. I think that's the Chris you're talking about.
Oh, hi, Cease. Yeah, it is. So
But
that's
yeah, man.
of Mellow.
Amazing. So, dude, I've taken enough of your time. I'm sure you have to do other things as well. I just want to thank you for coming on board and having a chat with me. I will definitely shout out your music, plus I will shout out Melo Sessions. All I can ask for you to do is, if there's anything coming up and you want some help from my end as well, just let me know. I'm not someone who'll be like, I will not support you. I've never been that person, especially in a time of need now. Music really helps solves a lot of issues. Loneliness, anxiety, music can help with those things as well. That's why when Minesh comes on, I'm just like, go watch him now. So it's
That
just
boy's got a voice,
like
so it's totally worth checking him out
absolutely,
all the time.
absolutely. Like if I can help in any way, this conversation doesn't have to end here. Like even in the future, after things settle down, I would love to keep supporting the Mellow sessions because personally, I've had fun as well. So that's something I'd love to do. So, man, my
Awesome.
last question is obviously this show is called Going Live for Kindness. So I just want to ask you, man, what does kindness mean to you in your life?
So interestingly, I tuned into a couple of the earlier ones that were happening, and Sheshadri was a mind blower. She,
Please.
she's spoke a few hard truths there. Yeah. So just let me kind of reiterate what she said as well, which I'm completely in agreement with. I kind of want to draw into an analogy where we're all, at the end of the day, we're kind of like songs. Um, from the day we're born, we're being written. And as we go along, there are little layers that get added on top of that. And then basically, it's a melody that's created for all of us, right? And the beauty with songs is that it's subjective. You have songs that you might like, you have songs that you might not necessarily like, but your friend likes. And that's an agree to disagree sort of forum that we live in. And it's the same with human beings, right? We all come in different shapes and sizes and colors and cultures and backgrounds. And to re-emphasize what she said, the only way we can coexist is if we listen. And there's nothing beyond that. I mean, you could go into like the technicalities of it and make it as complex as possible, but at the end of the day, the basic act of listening to someone else and taking the time to do that makes a huge difference. And yeah, I think that's where it should all start at the end of the day.
Amazing, brother. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I love how every single person interprets music, not music, but kindness differently. And yeah, man, like we're all beautiful music if we want to be. Like
Yeah,
you can give yourself the same love that you'd give someone else. The people who truly love you and believe in you will listen to you. That's it.
absolutely.
Surround yourself with people who appreciate your music. So, dude, thank you so much again for joining me. I've had a lovely time talking to you, and trust me, I'm going to keep supporting as much as I can. Just reach out if I miss anything. Just please reach out and just let me know. I've been getting people saying reply to my message, so I'm like I'm slowly getting to all of those. But yeah, man, thank you so
And I
much,
really
and
agree. Amazing job. I think this particular forum and conversation is something that's really needed, and you're doing a really, really great job of it.
thanks,
Thanks a
man.
lot.
Everyone deserves. What I've noticed, especially, I speak from a Sri Lankan context. People who deserve their voices to be put out there, what I've realized, don't get the opportunity, right? And that makes me really sad. Like even I get messages sometimes saying, "Hey, Sharon, why didn't you get this opportunity?" And I was just like, favoritism,
Right.
social pressure, and who you know, and all of those things play a factor. And I've spoken to so many beautiful souls over the past 2 weeks. more than 2 weeks, like 2.5 weeks, where it's just like there's so many people who have a story to tell and they don't have a platform. So if I can give them a small platform, as small as it may be, for them to be inspired to do other things. Like I've heard people who have come on and be like, I spoke in your live show and now I'm doing my own thing. Or like I'm doing videos now where I'm speaking. Or like because of your live show I'm talking on Pulse now, because they saw someone from Pulse saw it. And I'm just like, that's awesome. You know? I hate this whole egotistical nature, man. I want people to win. If more people who deserve to win, the world's going to be a better place, because those people who are winning are trying to make a difference. Sometimes it's from music, sometimes it's from other places. So it's just
Yeah,
like, that's all it is.
it's just a conversation on a high level that it's a very selective conversation on a high level that's happening. And like you said, it's not all inclusive. So the more that you do that, even at the smaller bases, it makes a huge difference. And absolutely right, man. I couldn't agree more with that.
Absolutely, man. And we need more like-minded people working together. And that's why I said, like, if I can help in any way, just let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you go, relax, do your mellow session tonight. And if I'm up, I will catch up with it as well.
For sure. Thanks a lot, man. You're done now, or you've got one more, right?
I got one more. And I haven't had any food until
Okay.
like I had food at 11 a.m. and my stomach's starting to sing beautiful songs to me. So I'm gonna have that live session and have some dinner and then try and call it a night as soon as I can.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Catch you soon.
Thank you so much, brother. Have a good day.
See you, brother. Bye.
So guys, that was Asela. You can go check out his music. He's released like a lot of songs and it's great. So like you can take your time, you can save his music, listen to it and give it a chance. Like new music can like put you in a better mood. You know what I mean? And like coming across like new music is like the best. And also Melo is having sessions every day with different artists. I'll share their platforms later on as well. But Manic, go follow their page. EPHPNG, I'm really sorry. I missed your question. Um, well, bro, I have no idea, man. I'm sorry I missed your question, though. I will try and get that answered for you later on. And I do take questions from the audience. That was just my mistake because I'm getting old and tired. Sorry about that, man. I'll definitely try and get it answered. But if not, you can send me a message shouting at me. All right, guys, I will be taking a quick 15-minute break and then I will be back with my last guest, KK. He's a part of Unscripted and he's been my